All right. Well, you know that I've had a past.
Yes. We've all had pasts.
It's the past you really weren't on that road. This is the jazz fusion road.
Okay, cool.
I always showed you stuff, and you crossed the line a little bit. But there were times that I veered heavily into the jazz fusion, into the jazz dissonance and stuff. And over the years, it's cemented the fact that that I don't prefer that. I really prefer fusion in the rock fusion sense.
Right.
I prefer it rooted in the blues. So going back to some things that I've always loved, aside from guitar, I love drums. I love drummers, good drummers. A pocket drummer, a Jeff Porcaro drummer. So one of the guys that I always remembered, I used to be into the Mahavishnu Orchestra, if you remember, and a lot of those jazz fusion groups from the 70s. And one of the Mahavishnu members, Billy Cobham, you remember the name?
The name sounds very familiar, yeah.
Classic jazz fusion drummer, and his first solo album was called Spectrum. So I took this song that I found on YouTube. It's his song called Stratus. Again, it's definitely fusion, but more rooted in the blues. And most specifically, I wanted to show you this is because it's a classic rock drum or fusion drummer for me, and it's a lot in my musical history.
Yeah.
But also to keep an eye on River Phoenix. R.I.P. River Phoenix. Not really. The guitar player looks a lot like River Phoenix.
Okay. I was going to say, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. No, I like River Phoenix, so I just give him a shout out. Hope you're well. Seriously, I guess the point is that he's unassuming, and I guess I won't build it up too much, but just keep an eye on the guitar player around 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Okay.
And buckle up. So, yeah, we'll check out Billy Cobham doing Stratus right after this word.
All right. I'm excited. Billy Cobham, Stratus. Here we go.
This is groove drumming at its finest. It's a terrible signal. So we need a pause signal. Help me!
I paused.
I just wanted to say that to put it on record before this continues, that when I said to you, hey, here's the next thing we're going to do, you said, oh, is that some kind of jazz crap? and I quote. So, just go ahead.
You made me stop the video for that?
This is copyright.
All right.
He's not bad.
No, this I like this groove.
No, this guy's ridiculous.
So I have to say,
You thought they were going to do Frankenstein at the end, didn't you?
No, the guitarist. Yeah, I can see the River Phoenix kind of mixed with Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
He's got that look. Anyway,
you get your damn hands off.
No, that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to pick up my guitar and just jam along.
Right.
Totally. I mean, it veered a little bit too jazzy for me at times, but not.
That's usually
not
when the keyboardist takes over and takes his solo, but that's okay. Yeah. That's when I get up and get a snack or a piss break.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I worked that into the schedule. So I have no problem with that short,
The bass was awesome. I loved hearing that bass. It just kind of held the whole thing together for me.
Which usually does in these kind of fusion cases.
Yeah. And the guitar was, I mean, there's no question. Every single person on that stage is an amazing musician. There's no arguing that.
I find when they're based in the blues, not only have to be technically proficient, but just to be able to get that playing is just the subtleties of playing, roots blues and with feel. And then so when he does cross over into the jazz modes, he always again comes back to that.
Yeah,
that's centered home base, and I love that.
Yeah, that's kind of the draw, the allure to that, because it's in this familiar kind of area. Then it delves into this weird sort of unknown, and then brings you back. Because the old brings you back. That's a satisfying voyage, really. Mm-hmm. So I really dig that. I tend to shy away from the jams from jazz bands that go too much into the jazz direction and just kind of live in that almost atonal place or non-melodic, just kind of jazz for being jazz.
Well, that was my whole point with this. And, Billy Cobham's done stuff with George Duke and mm-hmm. Stevie Wonder. And so he's funk based, even though it's a fusion player.
Right.
But I just knew that I said, I'm going to check out Stratus because that's probably got a real funk blues based, feel to it, which it does,
Yeah.
And he's been doing this. I mean, he was there when Mahavishnu Orchestra. I mean, but I never. It was just at that point when I was just like being Mr. Musician, and who could play the fastest, and
right,
So I delved in a little of that, but I really deep down didn't like it because it was too much into the dissonance,
right,
and not housed in that beautiful. Pentatonic Dorian jazz blues, rock blues mode, so if I'm really true to myself, that's as far out as I want to go as what we just saw.
Yep.
But because they're coming right back,
Exactly.
So not any really more down that road. Once it turns jazz, then fusion, I'm kind of out.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. Like, I know you used to be a huge fan of Pat Metheny. And he's an amazing guitarist, but I'm not big on his music because it was too much in that jazz area that, I'm just not, that's just not me. But this one was the perfect balance, I thought.
Well, that's why I think you would find that balance, where it was getting skewed more heavily, in the comfort zone and then branching out. But it was basically a perfect platform for the guitar to really go.
Yeah, if I can listen to a song like that and feel like I'm going to be able to pick up my guitar and jam along, that's a great thing. If I'm listening to something that's like Pat Metheny, there's no way I can pick up my guitar and jam out to that. It's beyond my skills.
Right.
So it's just much more complicated music. And that's, this is.
Well, also doesn't come from a self-esteem place because, it's just realizing that that's the beauty of music is that, like when G3 concerts happen, so they'll get 3 of the great guitar players to play together.
Right.
They'll have their own sets and they come on and play together.
Right.
not about who's better, who's faster, who's this. It's because he has a style of his art. He has a style of his art, and see how it comes through from here to his fingers. And always, no matter what, it's like a guitar player can pick up the same guitar, but it's going to sound different.
Yeah,
because their inflections are on their skin and their fingers,
right.
and So I think that once you get older and you're a musician for a long time, and or at least you're a music fan for a long time, the older you get, the more you just appreciate the differences.
Yeah.
Subtle differences even.
Yep. So, and to me, a song really has to have some sense of a melody.
And that it has to have.
And that's why sometimes when it's just too jazzy, too in that, it's still great music, just not something I want to hear a lot of.
Well, you know what? And a mutual all-time shout-out then would be, I bet you would agree with this statement. If I want to hear this genre of music for a short period of time and I want to get my fix, just go to Steely Dan.
Yeah,
you can't lose.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, they play with those cool jazzy chord changes, but still keep it
you
rooted.
agree with that.
Oh yeah,
but it's just taking that groove pocket, blues, yum.
Yeah. No, this is cool. Now I'll probably pick up my guitar a little later.
There you go. Jam out to Billy Cobham Stratus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, cool.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever we come out with new videos.
All right. Until then, we will rock on with our pants on, usually. And
Let's hope so.
bring more stuff.
All right.
Keep on watching.